Commander Olivia Harrison stood at the observation deck of Deep Space Station Artemis, orbiting Neptune. She brushed her auburn hair away from her face while gazing at the massive blue planet below. Her team had been stationed here for 6 months, monitoring the outer reaches of the solar system for any unusual activity. It was supposed to be a routine assignment. Nothing ever happened at the edge of human territory. But today, that was about to change. The alarm blared across the station, startling. Olivia, from her thoughts, she rushed to the command center where her crew was already in motion. Dr. Megan Powell, her chief science officer, was hunched over her console, her fingers dancing across the holographic display. Her normally calm demeanor was replaced with intense focus. "What do we have, Megan?" Olivia asked, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Energy signatures." Commander Dr. Powell replied without looking up. "Nothing like anything in our database. Definitely artificial and definitely not ours." She finally looked up, her blue eyes wide. "The readings suggest these are massive, possibly over 2 kilometers in length." Olivia felt a cold sensation spreading through her chest. Something that big could only mean, "Trouble, show me." The main screen lit up with a visual from their long-range sensors. 3 enormous vessels were emerging from what looked like a tear in space itself. Their hulls were dark and angular, with pulsing purple lights running along what appeared to be weapon ports. They were unlike any human ship design, completely alien in both form and function. "Get me communications officer Wright," Olivia ordered. Samantha Wright arrived seconds later, sliding into her station with practiced ease. Her dark skin contrasted with the bright white of her uniform. As she adjusted her headset picking up transmissions between the vessels. "Commander, but it's nothing like any language or code we've ever encountered," Sam reported. Her fingers flew across her console, trying to isolate and analyze the signals. "The computer can't make sense of it at all." "Send the first contact package on all frequencies," Olivia ordered, following protocol, despite the unease growing in her stomach. Sam nodded and transmitted the carefully crafted message of peace that all human explorers were trained to send when encountering new life. The message included mathematical sequences, basic scientific principles, and greetings in multiple Earth languages. Minutes passed with no response. The alien vessels continued their approach, seemingly ignoring the human station. Lieutenant Kate Russell, the tactical officer, spoke up from her station. "Commander, they're scanning us." She frowned at her readings. "They're scanning everything. Our defenses, our communications, even our life support systems." Before Olivia could respond, Kate shouted, "I'm detecting energy buildups along their hulls." "Weapons systems are charging evasive maneuvers," Olivia ordered. "Red alert. All hands to battle stations. Send emergency transmissions to Earth." The station groaned as it attempted to move, but it was too slow. The first energy beam struck before they could properly align their minimal shields. The blast tore through the outer hull of the science section. "Status report," Olivia shouted over the blaring alarms. "Multiple hull breaches," Dr. Powell yelled back. "Emergency bulkheads are engaging, but we're losing pressure in sections 3 through 7. Send another transmission," Olivia ordered. "Sam, try different frequencies. Make it clear we mean no harm in trying, Commander." Sam replied, her voice shaking. "But I don't think they care." The second blast hit with even more force, knocking Olivia off her feet. She felt warm blood trickling down her forehead as she pulled herself back to her station. The observation deck was gone, along with 12 of her crew. "Launch all emergency pods," Olivia ordered. "Get as many people off this station as possible." Kate looked up from her station, tears in her eyes. "Commander, most of the escape pods were in the section that just got destroyed. We have 3 pods left for 35 people. Get as many as you can into those pods," Olivia said. "Lieutenant Russell, you will lead the evacuation." She held up her hand when Kate began to protest. "That's an order, Kate. I'm staying behind to make sure everyone gets off and to transmit all our data back to Earth." The next few minutes were chaos as the remaining crew rushed to the escape pods. Olivia helped Dr. Powell secure the station's data cores, downloading everything they had observed about the alien vessels. The ship rocked again as another blast struck even closer to the command center. "Go, Megan," Olivia pushed her friend toward the last escape pod where Kate was waiting. "The data is transmitting. Make sure it gets to Admiral Ellis, Megan." hesitated but nodded once before running to join the others in the final escape pod. Olivia sealed the door behind them and activated the launch sequence, watching as the small vessel shot away from the dying station. She turned back to her console and recorded one final message. "This is Commander Olivia Harrison of Deep Space Station Artemis. We have encountered hostile alien forces near Neptune. They attacked without provocation or warning, I believe. This is a prelude to invasion." She paused, catching her breath as smoke filled the command center. "Tell my family I love them." The final blast struck the command center directly. Olivia's last act was hitting the transmit button, sending her warning to Earth. Admiral Diane Ellis was in a meeting at Terran Defense Force headquarters in Washington, D.C., when the emergency transmission arrived. The usually composed officer went pale as she listened to the fragmented message and watched the partial data showing the destruction of the Artemis station. She immediately called an emergency meeting of the Joint Chiefs, and the President Intelligence Analyst Allison Morgan was brought in to analyze the alien transmission that had been captured in the data packet hours later in the White House Situation Room. Morgan made a startling announcement. "Admiral, I've found something embedded in the alien transmission patterns." She said, her voice steady despite the gravity of her discovery. "It's not just random signals, it's a formal declaration. It's a declaration of war." The room fell silent as the implication set in. "Against us, against Earth?" the President asked. "Yes, Mom," Morgan confirmed, "against all of humanity." The message contains star charts targeting Earth and what appears to be invasion plans. Admiral Ellis stood up, her face grim. "Earth governments need to be united on this. We need to prepare. But more importantly," she looked at each person in the room, "we need to understand that these aliens didn't come to talk. They came to conquer. And they don't expect us to fight back." Outside the window, the sun was setting, casting long shadows across Washington, D.C. The first battle of the war was over, and humanity had lost. But the war was just beginning. 6 months had passed since the destruction of Deep Space Station Artemis. The once divided nations of Earth had united under the banner of the Terran Defense Force. All resources were directed toward preparing for the alien invasion that intelligence suggested was coming. Captain Olivia Harrison stood in the secure underground laboratory beneath the Rocky Mountains. Her survival had been nothing short of miraculous. The escape pod she had managed to reach at the last second was damaged in the attack, leaving her drifting unconscious for weeks before being recovered by a search team. Now she led the most important research team on the planet, studying the alien technology salvaged from the battle debris. The room around her hummed with activity as scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to understand their enemy. Dr. Megan Powell approached, carrying a tablet, her eyes bright with excitement. "I think we have something. Captain, show me." Olivia followed her friend to a sealed chamber, where a piece of alien technology floated in a containment field. "We finally cracked their quantum communication network," Megan explained. "It's unlike anything we've ever seen. They don't use traditional electromagnetic signals at all. They communicate through quantum entanglement across vast distances." Olivia studied the strange device. "Can we track it?" "That's the breakthrough." Megan smiled. "We can trace the quantum links back to their source. It's like following a string through space. The link leads to what we believe is their staging area, approximately 2 light-years beyond Pluto. This could change everything." Olivia said softly. "We need to inform Admiral Ellis immediately." Across the facility, Intelligence Officer Allison Morgan was making her own breakthrough. She had been working tirelessly to decipher the alien language from the fragmented communications recovered during the attack. She called Captain Harrison and Dr. Powell to her workspace, her normally tidy desk now covered with notes and diagrams. "I have a name for our enemy," Morgan announced. "They call themselves the Voidborn Ascendancy. According to what I've translated, they consider themselves the rightful rulers of this sector of space." She pointed to a particular symbol that appeared repeatedly. "They see other species as resources to be harvested or eliminated." "What about their plans?" Olivia asked. Morgan pulled up another screen. "They underestimate us completely. They consider humans to be primitive and defenseless. Their invasion fleet is still assembling. They didn't expect us to survive their first attack, let alone be able to understand their technology. How much time do we have? Megan asked, based on the communications patterns and fleet movements. Morgan said, perhaps 3 months before they launch a full-scale attack. Olivia stood straight, her mind racing. This is our chance, she said. We know where they are. We have elements of their technology. We need to strike first. The following day, Captain Harrison stood before Admiral Ellis in the war room of TDF headquarters. The wall screens displayed the latest defense preparations across Earth. Orbit Captain Ellis nodded to Olivia to begin her presentation. Admiral, the Ascendancy believes we are sitting here waiting for them to attack. Olivia said they expect us to be easy prey, but we have an opportunity that may never come again. She activated the holographic display showing the location of the alien staging area. We can strike them before they strike us, Admiral. Ellis frowned. Is that even possible? Our fastest ships would take years to reach that position. Not necessarily. Olivia gestured, and Engineer Laura Blackwell stepped forward. The brilliant engineer had been working day and night on applications for the alien technology. We have developed a prototype weapon based on the quantum technology recovered from the alien debris. Blackwell explained. It can disrupt the fields they use for their ships and weapons. She brought up technical schematics on the display. More importantly, we've adapted their own propulsion technology to one of our stealth vessels, the TDF Valkyrie. Ellis looked skeptical. How reliable is this technology? We've run over 300 simulations, Blackwell replied. Her confidence was evident in her steady voice. We believe it has a 70% chance of success. And if it fails, Ellis asked, then we'll have 3 months to prepare for the invasion, knowing we tried everything. Olivia answered honestly. But if it succeeds, we might end this war before it truly begins. Ellis was silent for a long moment, considering the options. Finally, she nodded. Assemble your team, Captain. This operation is now designated Strike First. You have 2 weeks to prepare. The next days passed. In a blur of activity, the experimental stealth vessel TDF Valkyrie was prepared for its mission. Captain Harrison personally selected her crew. Dr. Powell would serve as science officer, analyzing alien technology. In real time, Lieutenant Kate Russell, who had led the survivors from Artemis, would be tactical officer. Communication officer Samantha Wright would monitor and intercept alien transmissions, and Chief Engineer Laura Blackwell would maintain the experimental systems that gave them their only chance of success. The night before launch, Olivia stood alone in the observation deck looking at the stars. Beyond those peaceful points of light waited an enemy determined to destroy humanity. Admiral Ellis joined her, the older woman's face solemn. In the dim light, it's a one-way mission, isn't it? She asked quietly. Olivia didn't look away from the stars. There's a chance we'll make it back, a small one. Ellis said, it's a suicide mission. Someone has to do it, Olivia replied, and my team is the best chance. I won't order anyone to come. They all volunteered, knowing the risks. Ellis placed a hand on Olivia's shoulder. Your parents would be proud. Olivia finally turned to face the Admiral. Thank you for approving this. I know it's not by the book. Ellis smiled grimly. Nothing about this situation is by the book. Captain Harrison, we're facing extinction. This is no time for conventional thinking. She handed Olivia a small data chip. This contains a message for Earth if your mission succeeds, but you don't return. Your team will be remembered as the saviors of humanity. The following morning, the crew of the Valkyrie assembled on the launch deck. Each wore the new black uniforms of the Special Operations Division. The standard TDF insignia replaced, with the Strike First mission patch, a silver sword against a Starfield captain. Harrison addressed her small crew. This mission may be the most important in human history. The Ascendancy thinks we're weak. They think we're waiting here to be conquered. She looked at each face, seeing determination reflected back. They never expected us to strike first. Let's show them how wrong they are. The crew boarded the sleek black vessel, its experimental hull absorbed rather than reflected light, making it nearly invisible to conventional sensors. The ship hummed with power as Engineer Blackwell activated the adapted alien technology. As the Valkyrie lifted off from Earth, Olivia took one last look at the beautiful blue planet below her. Then she turned to face the void and the enemy waiting beyond. Set course for the Ascendancy staging area, she ordered. Maximum stealth. All hands prepare for departure. The stars seemed to stretch and then snap as the Valkyrie vanished into the darkness, leaving Earth behind. The preemptive strike had begun. The TDF Valkyrie moved silently through the void beyond Neptune. No conventional engines propelled it forward. Instead, the revolutionary stealth system designed by engineer Laura Blackwell utilized the adapted alien quantum technology, creating microscopic tunnels through space itself. The ship effectively skipped across these tunnels, traveling vast distances without leaving an energy signature. On the bridge, Captain Olivia Harrison studied the tactical display. 4 days had passed since their departure from Earth, and they were approaching the coordinates where they believed the Ascendancy staging area was located. How much longer until we reach the target zone? She asked. Lieutenant Kate Russell checked her instruments. About 3 hours, Captain. Assuming our intelligence is correct. She frowned slightly. The quantum signals are getting stronger, which suggests we're on the right track. Olivia nodded. Good. Keep us at maximum stealth. She turned to Communications Officer Samantha. Write any transmissions. Sam adjusted her specialized headset designed to detect the alien quantum communications, increasing chatter. Captain. But still encrypted. Dr. Powell is working on breaking the new codes in the science lab adjacent to the bridge. Dr. Megan Powell was surrounded by holographic displays of alien communication patterns. The quantum signals were unlike anything humans had encountered before. But Megan had spent months studying the fragments recovered from the Artemis attack. She had developed an algorithm that could partially translate the alien language. A pattern caught her attention, and she quickly called the bridge. Captain, I have something. The aliens are discussing a large-scale operation. The timing suggests it's their planned Earth invasion. Send everything to Intelligence Officer Morgan's translation matrix. Olivia ordered. Our mission depends on knowing their exact plans. The Valkyrie continued its approach toward what seemed like empty space. The sensors showed nothing unusual, yet the quantum signals grew stronger with each passing minute. Something is wrong, Kate said suddenly. The quantum signals indicate a massive structure should be right in front of us, but there's nothing. There. Olivia frowned. Megan analysis. Dr. Powell ran several quick scans. It could be cloaked or perhaps existing in a different phase of space-time given what we know about their technology. She adjusted her instruments. Weighed him, detecting gravitational distortions consistent with a massive object. Activate the quantum resonance scanner, Olivia ordered. It's our best chance to see through whatever concealment they're using. Laura Blackwell entered the bridge, wiping engine grease from her hands. The chief engineer had been fine-tuning the experimental systems continuously since their departure. The quantum resonance scanner was her latest adaptation based on the alien technology. Give me a moment to calibrate, she said, her fingers dancing across the control panel. The scanner uses the same quantum principles as their communication system. It should let us see whatever they're hiding. The main view screen flickered, and then revealed what had been invisible moments before. Olivia felt her breath catch in her throat. The alien staging area wasn't just a fleet. It was an entire mobile battle station. Nearly 15 kilometers across, the massive structure resembled a dark metal snowflake with 6 extending arms. Each arm housed dozens of warships similar to those that had attacked the Artemis. Around this central structure, hundreds of smaller vessels moved in complex patterns. Their hulls shared the same angular design and purple energy signatures as the attackers. Sweet heaven. Laura whispered. This isn't just an invasion fleet. It's an armada. Kate checked her tactical readings. They haven't detected us yet. The stealth system is holding. We need to get closer. Olivia decided. We need to identify the command structure and vulnerable points. Megan, continue working. On those translations, Sam, monitor all communications for anything that might indicate their chain of command. Laura, keep the stealth systems at maximum efficiency. The Valkyrie edged closer to the massive alien structure, using the shadow of a small asteroid for additional cover. As they approached, Dr. Powell made another discovery. Captain, I've identified what appears to be a central hub where most of the communications originate. She highlighted a section near the center of the snowflake structure. Based on communication patterns, I believe this is their command center. Olivia studied the schematics. If we can disrupt their command structure, it might throw the entire armada into disarray. Lieutenant Russell frowned. How do we get close enough? Their security is likely heaviest around that section. Olivia considered the problem. We use their own blind spot. What do our scans show about their sensor technology, Doctor? Powell brought up the analysis. The ascendancy relies almost exclusively on quantum-based detection systems. They seem to have minimal conventional sensors, probably because quantum technology is so superior in most applications, and our stealth system specifically blocks quantum detection. Laura added. She saw where Olivia was heading. With this, their conventional sensors are weaker than ours, which means they have a blind spot. Olivia finished. If we approach from below their orbital plane and time our movement between their patrol patterns, we might be able to reach the command center undetected. Sam suddenly raised her hand for silence. Her eyes were wide as she listened through her headset. Captain, you need to hear this, she said. Patching the transmission through the ship's speakers, a harsh, guttural language filled the bridge. Dr. Powell's translation algorithm converted it to English with a slight delay. The translation came through in fragments. Primitive species, harvest resources, Earth vessels prepared cleansing protocol. 3 cycles. 3 cycles. Megan said. That matches. Our intelligence. They plan to attack Earth in 3 months. Olivia made her decision. We're proceeding with the mission. As planned, we will place the quantum disruptor at the heart of their command center. Lieutenant Russell, plot an approach course. Along their sensor blind spots, Engineer Blackwell prepare the disruptor for deployment. The crew moved with purposeful efficiency as the Valkyrie began its dangerous approach. The ship slid silently beneath the massive alien structure, staying in. The sensor shadow created by the staging area's own mass patrol vessels passed overhead, unaware of the human ship beneath them. Their regular patterns created brief windows where the Valkyrie could move without detection. Kate expertly guided the ship through these windows, bringing them steadily closer to their target. In the engine room, Laura made final adjustments to the quantum disruptor. The device was smaller than she would have liked, barely the size of a standard shuttle. Its power source had been adapted from the alien technology, giving it enough energy to create a cascading quantum disruption that should disable the ascendancy systems. On the bridge, tension grew as they neared their target. The massive alien structure loomed, above them dwarfing the human vessel. A single mistake would mean instant detection and certain destruction. We're approaching the access point, Kate said quietly. 50 meters, 20. The ship slowed to a crawl as they reached a maintenance hatch on the underside of the command structure. Sam had identified it as a potential entry point, based on observed activity patterns. According to the quantum scans, this leads to a maintenance tunnel that connects to their central power distribution system, Megan reported. It's our best option for placing the disruptor. Olivia nodded. Laura. Prepare for EVA. You and I will deploy the disruptor manually. She turned to the others. The rest of you will remain on the Valkyrie. If we don't return in 30 minutes, you are to retreat and return to Earth with all the intelligence we've gathered. Kate began to protest, but Olivia cut her off. That's an order, Lieutenant. This mission is too important to risk everyone. 15 minutes later, Olivia and Laura floated in the maintenance tunnel of the alien structure. Their specialized EVA suits incorporated elements of the stealth technology, helping mask their presence from internal sensors. The quantum disruptor floated between them as they navigated the strange, alien corridors. The interior of the structure was unlike anything human architects would design. Angular corridors shifted directions seemingly at random. The walls pulsed with the same purple energy that powered their ships. The gravity fluctuated as they moved deeper, creating a disorienting effect. According to the scans, the central power distribution node should be 50 meters ahead, Olivia said through the secure communication channel. Laura checked her handheld scanner. Confirmed, but picking up movement ahead, possibly automated maintenance systems. They pressed themselves against a wall as a strange mechanical entity floated past. Its multiple limbs moved with eerie precision, adjusting components in the walls. The machine showed no sign of detecting them. Once it passed, they continued forward, finally reaching a large chamber filled with pulsing energy conduits. The quantum signatures were strongest here, suggesting they had found the heart of the command center. "This is it," Laura whispered. "This is where we plant the disruptor." She began attaching the device to what appeared to be a central junction point. It's already configured to create a cascading failure through their quantum network. Once it starts, they won't be able to stop it. "How long until detonation?" Olivia asked, watching the corridor for signs of detection. 20 minutes should give us enough time to get back to the Valkyrie," Laura replied. "But once this thing activates their entire command structure, we'll go down. Within minutes, the disruption will spread to all connected systems." Laura made the final connections and activated the countdown. The disruptor's display lit up with alien numerals counting down. Admiral Diane Ellis stood in the war room of TDF headquarters staring at the message that had arrived via the quantum receiver. The technology was still experimental, but the signal was clear. The Valkyrie mission had succeeded, but at a terrible cost. The door opened and intelligence analyst Allison Morgan entered carrying a tablet. Her normally perfect uniform was wrinkled, suggesting she hadn't slept in days. "The alien communication network has gone silent." "Admiral," she reported, "our monitoring stations are picking up chaotic transmissions from individual ships, but the coordinated patterns we were tracking have collapsed completely." Ellis nodded. "Captain Harrison's team did it then. They hit the command structure." Morgan allowed herself a small smile. "They did more than that, Mom. Based on our analysis, they triggered a cascading failure through the entire Ascendancy quantum network. Their fleet is in disarray. How long do we have?" Ellis asked. Morgan consulted her tablet. "Best estimate is 8 to 10 months before they can rebuild their command structure and resume the invasion plans." Ellis straightened her shoulders. "We just went from 3 months to prepare to nearly a year. That gives us time to implement defense plan." Omega Morgan raised an eyebrow. "That plan was considered theoretical at best, Admiral. The resource requirements alone are now justified." Ellis cut in. "Captain Harrison and her crew just sacrificed themselves to buy us time. I'm not going to waste it." She activated the main display showing Earth and its orbital defense network. "Currently minimal, begin full mobilization. Effective immediately. Earth is on a war footing." Far from Earth, the damaged TDF Valkyrie drifted through the outer solar system, its conventional engines struggling to maintain course toward Pluto. The ship had suffered severe damage during their escape from the alien staging area. The quantum drive that had brought them there was beyond repair, forcing them to rely on standard propulsion in engineering. Laura Blackwell worked tirelessly to keep the ship systems functioning. The adapted alien technology had been ingenious, but unstable. The quantum disruption they had triggered had affected some of their own systems as well. Captain Harrison floated into the engineering section in the minimal gravity. The ship was conserving power, running only essential systems. Status report, she asked. Laura wiped sweat from her forehead. "I've managed to stabilize life support and we have enough power for basic functions, but the engines are another story. We're moving, but at reduced speed." She sighed. "Our new ETA to Pluto is 14 months rather than the 6 we initially calculated, and communications still down," Laura replied. "The quantum receiver works, but the transmitter was damaged beyond repair. We can receive messages from Earth but can't respond." Olivia absorbed this information. "We'll have to hope Admiral Ellis received our last transmission before the system failed." On the bridge, Dr. Megan Powell and Communications Officer Sam Wright were monitoring the quantum receiver. Sam had modified it to pick up any alien transmissions that might indicate pursuit. "I think they're regrouping," Dr. Powell reported, watching the fragmented signals. "They lost their central command structure, but individual fleet commanders are establishing communication with each other." "How long until they pose a threat again?" Sam asked. "Impossible to know for certain," Megan replied. "But based on the communication patterns, Head estimate 8 to 10 months minimum. Lieutenant Kate Russell joined them, her expression grim. So we bought Earth some time, but we're still stuck out here. Olivia entered the bridge, catching the last comment. We did what we came to do, she said firmly. The mission was a success. She looked at each of them. We all knew this might be a one-way trip. Kate nodded respectfully. I know, Captain M, just stating facts. We're 14 months from Pluto, with damaged systems and limited supplies. Olivia activated. The ship's log recorder status update day 5 since Operation Strike First. The Valkyrie sustained significant damage during our escape. Quantum drive is inoperable. Conventional engines operating at 52% efficiency. Current course is set for Pluto with estimated arrival in 14 months. She paused. Life support systems are stable. Food and water recycling systems are functional but operating at reduced capacity. The crew is performing admirably under difficult circumstances. She ended the recording. Let's be clear about our situation. We have enough supplies to reach Pluto if we maintain strict rationing. Once there, we can establish a distress beacon using the research station's communication array. Earth will send help when they can. The days stretched into weeks as the Valkyrie continued its slow journey. The crew settled into a routine conserving resources and maintaining the ship systems. Laura worked constantly to squeeze every bit of efficiency from the engines. Megan and Sam monitored alien communications, tracking the Ascendancy's recovery efforts. Kate maintained the weapon systems, though they hoped they wouldn't need them. Olivia kept the crew focused and motivated. Despite the uncertain future, she maintained discipline and purpose. She recorded daily logs documenting their journey and the information they continued to gather on the Ascendancy. 3 months into their journey, they received their first transmission from Earth TDF Valkyrie. This is Admiral Ellis. The message came through the quantum receiver. Message received regarding Operation Strike. First success. Earth is implementing defense plan. Omega rescue mission is being prepared, but will take time. Your sacrifice has not gone unnoticed. Continue to Pluto as planned. We will find you. The message boosted crew morale. They were not forgotten. Earth was preparing both for war and for their eventual rescue. 5 months into the journey. However, they encountered a new problem. Sam detected it first. Unusual quantum signatures, Captain, she reported. Not matching known ascendancy patterns. Megan analyzed the readings. This is different. More like a scout or probe. Very small, possibly automated. Olivia frowned. Change course. Let's avoid any contact. The Valkyrie adjusted its trajectory, moving farther from the strange signal. For 2 days it seemed they had avoided detection. Then multiple signals appeared. They're changing course to intercept us. Kate reported. They know we're here. Olivia made a quick decision: power up weapons. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. The first alien vessel appeared on their sensors. It was much smaller than the warships they had encountered before. Sleek and fast, it approached rapidly. More vessels are appearing. Sam called. Out there surrounding us. Laura rushed to the bridge. Captain, these aren't Ascendancy designs. The quantum signatures are different. The realization hit Olivia. These were not the same aliens. They were something else entirely. The lead vessel transmitted a signal. The quantum pattern was unlike anything they had seen before. Can you translate it? Olivia asked Megan. Dr. Powell worked frantically at her console. It's similar to the quantum language the Ascendancy uses, but with significant differences. She looked up, alarmed. It's a warning. They're telling us to power down or they'll fire. We have no choice, Olivia said. Power down weapons but maintain life support and essential systems. The Valkyrie went dark as the alien vessels surrounded them. For tense minutes, nothing happened. Then the lead vessel transmitted again. They're requesting permission to dock. Megan translated. Olivia looked at her crew. We didn't come all this way to die without knowing who we're facing. Prepare for visitors. The alien ship docked with the Valkyrie. The airlock cycled, and for the first time humans came face to face with an alien species. They were humanoid, but clearly not human. Their skin had a bluish tint with faint luminescent patterns. Their eyes were large with vertical pupils. Their movements were fluid, almost graceful. The lead alien stepped forward, studying the humans with evident curiosity. It spoke in a musical language that the translator struggled to interpret after several attempts at communication. Dr. Powell made a breakthrough. They call themselves the Lumerians. They have been fighting the ascendancy for generations. The alien seemed to understand her attempts at communication. It gestured to the ship around them, then to itself and its companions. Think they're offering help? Megan said. Over the next hours, through painstaking communication, they learned more. The Lumerians had been monitoring the Ascendancy's movements when they detected the Valkyrie's attack. They had been searching for the ship that had struck such a blow against their enemy. You enemies of enemies, Megan translated haltingly. The Lumerian made a gesture that might have been respect. You fight well, you strike first. We help. Olivia considered their options. They were still months from Pluto with damaged systems and limited supplies. The Lumerians were offering assistance against a common foe. We accept your help, she said, directing Megan to translate. We share enemy. We fight together. The Lumerian made a gesture of agreement. Then it pointed to its ship and made a sweeping motion toward the stars. They want us to go with them, Megan said. Their main fleet is nearby. Olivia looked at her crew, seeing the same question in all their eyes. Could they trust these aliens? But what choice did they have? Prepare to transfer to the Lumerian vessel, she ordered. Bring all critical data and essential supplies. Hours later, the crew of the Valkyrie stood on the bridge of the alien ship, watching as their damaged vessel was taken in. The Lumerian ship was unlike anything they had seen before. Organic curves replaced the angular designs of human or ascendancy vessels. The technology was clearly advanced, but in a completely different direction from either. The lead Lumerian, who had introduced itself as something that sounded like Alara, guided them through the ship. To their surprise, the environment was comfortable for humans. The gravity and atmosphere needed. The Terran Defense Council chamber fell silent as the holographic projection concluded. Captain Olivia Harrison stood at attention beside her crew. The recording of their encounter with the Lumerians had just finished playing before the assembled military and political leaders of Earth. It had been 3 weeks since their return to Earth. The Lumerian fleet had brought them to Pluto in days, rather than the months it would have taken the damaged Valkyrie. From there, a TDF rescue vessel had transported them back to Earth, where they had been welcomed as heroes. Admiral Ellis approached the podium. Captain Harrison and her crew have accomplished something unprecedented. They not only succeeded in their mission to disrupt the Ascendancy invasion fleet, but they have also made first contact with a potential ally species. The Lumerian ambassador Alara stood nearby, its luminescent skin patterns glowing softly in the dimmed chamber. The alien had accompanied the Valkyrie crew back to Earth as a representative of the Lumerian Fleet Command. President Clara Martinez rose from her seat. The Terran Defense Force. Thanks you and your crew, Captain Harrison. The successful Operation Strike First has given us precious time to prepare, and now she gestured toward the Lumerian ambassador. It seems it has given us something even more valuable. Allies. Olivia nodded respectfully. Thank you, Madam President. We were simply doing our duty. Ellis activated the main strategic display. The image showed Earth's current defense preparations. Orbital platforms armed with adapted quantum weapons surrounded the planet. A fleet of new warships incorporating both human ingenuity and reverse-engineered ascendancy technology patrolled the system. Defense Plan Omega was well underway. Thanks to the intelligence gathered by the Valkyrie mission and the additional information provided by the Lumerians, we now have a much clearer picture of our enemy. Ellis explained. The Ascendancy is powerful, but not invincible. They have weaknesses, particularly in their reliance on quantum technology. And thanks to Engineer Blackwell and Dr. Powell, we now understand that technology better than ever. Laura Blackwell stepped forward at Ellis' gesture. The quantum disruptor we deployed was effective but limited in scope, she explained. With Lumerian assistance, we've developed a more powerful version capable of disabling Ascendancy vessels across a much wider area. Dr. Powell joined her. We believe the Ascendancy will adapt their technology to prevent the same attack from working twice, but we now understand the fundamental principles behind their systems. We can stay ahead of their adaptations. The intelligence director, stood next. According to our latest intel and Lumerian reconnaissance, the Ascendancy has recovered faster than we initially hoped. They are approximately 4 weeks from launching a renewed attack on Earth. This brought murmurs of concern from the council members. Elara spoke, its voice translated by the device it wore. My people have fought the Ascendancy for generations. They are persistent. They do not forgive. They will come with greater numbers and greater fury after your first strike. The alien made a gesture toward the stars. But they still do not understand humans. They still believe you are primitive. They do not expect the defenses you have built. Admiral Ellis nodded. The Lumerians have provided us with the locations of 3 key Ascendancy supply depots. Their fleet must pass through these points to reach Earth. She highlighted the locations on the display. Captain Harrison will lead a joint human-Lumerian strike force to hit these locations before the main Ascendancy fleet arrives. Olivia felt a surge of pride and determination. She and her crew had been through so much, but they were ready to fight again. We will depart in 48 hours, she confirmed. The TDF Vindicator is ready for deployment. The newly commissioned Vindicator was a massive improvement over the experimental Valkyrie. Built with the knowledge gained from both the Ascendancy technology and Lumerian assistance, it represented the best of human engineering. President Martinez addressed the council. Earth stands at a crossroads. After centuries of wondering if we were alone in the universe, we now face both an enemy determined to destroy us and an ally offering friendship. We did not ask for this war, but we will fight, and we will win. 2 days later, Olivia stood on the bridge of the Vindicator. Her crew had expanded. Lieutenant Kate Russell now commanded her own strike team. Sam Wright headed a communications division specializing in alien transmissions. Dr. Megan Powell led a science team dedicated to analyzing and countering Ascendancy technology. And Laura Blackwell had been promoted to chief engineer, overseeing the ship's revolutionary propulsion and weapons systems. The Vindicator was not traveling alone. 5 other human vessels and 7 Lumerian ships formed the Joint Strike Force. The largest military operation in human history was underway. Elara had joined them, serving as liaison between the human and Lumerian forces. The alien stood beside Olivia on the bridge, its skin patterns glowing with what she had learned to recognize as anticipation. The first target is the Ascendancy's fuel processing station in the Kuiper Belt, Olivia informed her crew. According to Lumerian intelligence, it is lightly defended, as the Ascendancy does not expect attacks this far from Earth. The strike force dropped out of quantum space near the station. The facility was massive, processing asteroid material into the exotic fuel that powered Ascendancy vessels. Begin the attack, Olivia ordered. The human and Lumerian ships moved in perfect coordination. The Ascendancy defenders were caught completely by surprise. Their vessels scrambled to respond, but the attack had been meticulously planned. The quantum disruptors deployed by Special Operations teams disabled the station's defenses before they could fully activate. Within hours, the facility was secured. The strike force destroyed the production equipment and captured valuable intelligence before moving on to their next target. The second target was an Ascendancy communications relay. The strike force approached with greater caution, as this facility had stronger defenses. The Ascendancy is on alert. Now, Kate reported. They know we're coming. Good, Olivia replied. Let them know. Fear for a change. The battle was fiercer this time. The Ascendancy defenders fought with determination, but the combined tactics of human unpredictability and Lumerian experience proved superior. The relay fell, and with it, the Ascendancy's ability to coordinate their approaching fleet. The final target was the most challenging, a forward command post where Ascendancy leaders were directing the renewed invasion plans. Intelligence suggested a high-ranking Ascendancy commander was present. This will not be easy, Elara warned. The alien studied the tactical display, its skin patterns shifting to what Olivia now recognized as concern. High Commander Vrakash leads this base. He is cunning, even by Ascendancy standards. Olivia nodded in understanding. We expected resistance. That's why we saved our surprise for last. She turned to Laura Engineer Blackwell deploy the Phantom drones. Laura activated a specialized system unique to the Vindicator. Dozens of small, unmanned vessels launched from the ship's bays are projected quantum signatures mimicking full-sized warships on the tactical display. It appeared as if 50 ships had suddenly appeared surrounding the Ascendancy base. The Ascendancy sensors detect vessels not reality, Alara observed with what seemed like admiration. Your engineer is clever, Laura smiled. The drones project false quantum signatures similar to their communication network. They can't distinguish the fake ships from real ones, while the Ascendancy defenses were distracted by the Phantom. The real strike force approached from another vector. The actual attack came from an unexpected direction, catching the defenders off guard. The space battle was intense. Ascendancy warships fought fiercely defending their command post. The Vindicator took several hits, its advanced shields absorbing the energy. 2 human vessels were severely damaged and 1 Lumerian ship was destroyed. But the combined force pressed on. Olivia directed the battle with calm efficiency. The lessons learned during the Valkyrie mission served her well. She anticipated Ascendancy tactics and countered them effectively. Megan monitored the quantum communications, and picking up increasing panic in their transmissions. She reported, "They're calling for reinforcements, but our attack on the relay means those calls aren't getting through." The strike force closed in on the command post. Specialized boarding teams, including Kate's strike team, prepared to capture the facility, were detecting a quantum surge from the command post. Laura warned suddenly. "They're activating some kind of weapon." A massive energy beam lashed out from the base, striking a Lumerian vessel. The ship exploded in a flash of light. "Return fire, all weapons," Olivia ordered. "Target that energy weapon." The Vindicator and remaining vessels concentrated fire on the weapon emplacement. Lumerian ships moved with incredible agility, avoiding further hits while human vessels provided covering fire. The combined firepower eventually overwhelmed the base's defenses, creating an opening for the boarding teams. Kate led her team into the Ascendancy command post. Fighting was intense as they pushed toward the central control room. The alien defenders were formidable with advanced weapons and fanatical determination. But the human strike team had surprise and determination on their side. Olivia monitored the operation from the bridge. "Kate, we need that command center intact," she reminded her officer. "We need their battle plans." "We're almost there, Captain," Kate replied, her voice steady despite the sounds of weapons fire in the background. "Resistance is heavy, but we're advancing." Finally, after intense room-to-room fighting, Kate reported success command.